It's
these
it.
guys in?
Yeah, no, it's a new guy, right? You make a trade, a new player shows up, it brings a buzz. That's what that's all about. We've come off the road, travel day yesterday. Usually the morning skate's pretty sluggish, but today, it's just the energy of an important trade, bringing in a really good hockey player, and it just brings a jump to your room. So there's a special buzz this morning for sure.
You coached against Vladimir
Yeah.
Tarasenko in the same division for years. I mean, what have you seen from him over the years?
He was just dynamic against us. I mean, we played them a lot. He was in our division, and then they beat us in a series, and he was elite in that series. Just very, very smart player, positional. He's got those hands. He can make plays. He can shoot the puck and pass the puck, but he's just a smart player. He gets to where he needs to. Moves the puck at the right time. Just a good veteran guy that I think can develop chemistry with just about anybody. He can really almost morph his game with different style of players. So it's a really good ad for us.
You
got
mentioned
him
chemistry, the fact that he has relationships with a lot of the guys in the room
Yeah.
already. How much does that fast track him
Yeah,
becoming
just-
part of the group?
Well, we feel the strength of this group is that idea of the group, the togetherness. So when you bring somebody in, you're always mindful of that. We spent a lot of time talking about how we think he'll fit in the room, but he's got a close relationship with Sergei. He knows Dmitry, played with Nico. And then the other piece is he's trained here in the summer, so this is in a lot of ways home for him. So there's would be most of our guys would have crossed paths with him at some point. That matters. It gets you could just see it with a number of interactions, and that's what I would watch today. Not so much the hockey, how many different connections did he make on the ice, guys tapping pads, and clearly he knew a bunch of them.
And you have him today with Barkov
Right.
and moving Rhino over. Is that something you decided just to try? I mean, when did you make that decision? Let's go this way.
Well, it's the thing I don't know. I know what Verhaeghe looks there. I know what Rodriguez looks like there. But what we don't know is what Vlad looks like there. I do think, and there's a language connection with Barkov and he, so the systems will be new for him. So there is going to be a bit of a lag, I think, in terms of speed until he gets up to speed to see once he understands the system. So you want somebody on the bench who understands it completely. You've got Barkov and Reinhart could define them as well as anybody. That's a positive. I like the other lines the way they're going, and we have time. So what I wanted to do is take the thing I didn't know and give it an opportunity to mold.
And moving Reinhardt into Kachuk, if you do that to the left side, something they haven't done a lot of here.
Right. I've got less of a concern. We'll do that later if we want. It'll just be organically. So he's starting on the left with Reinhardt on the right. So there's no change between Barkov and Reinhardt tonight. He'll start on the left. Vladimir will.
Well, I'd start on the left.
Correct.
Okay.
So that's the change for him. He's played it before, but he's never played it with these guys. You figure if you got 8 new things, you might as well have 9. Doesn't really matter that you're dealing with in your first night. I know that Reinhardt can go over the left, but I'd like to see this first. I know Kachuk can go over the left, but I really like where Lundell's line's at right now. It's fast, and the other team, when you get on the road, the other teams started to run their best against that line. Try to check Barkov a bit or check Bennett a bit, and they were good. So I don't want to change that. The best hockey in terms of production has been with Verhaeghe, Bennett, and Kachuk. That's when Matthew got going. So we know what that like. We'll be very patient with this. I got lots of confidence. It doesn't need to be good the first night. We want it to be really, really good the last night. But I want to they're all veteran guys on that line. Give them time to play together.
Coach, you talked about the buy-in from the dressing room and from the coach about the run you guys are hoping to make. A move like this, what does it say about the front office's commitment to the buy-in and this push?
I felt the same last year, to be honest with you. We didn't make a move. And last year, at this time, it was still really, really tight whether we would or not. And there was no apprehension about it. And this year, we feel pretty confidently we're going to make the playoffs. So there was no desperation in the need. It was truly the opportunity. Could we find the right guy? If we don't, then we didn't make a trade last year, and we were fine with that. This year, there was a player that we felt can move around our lineup a little bit, can do power play. He said he's willing to kill penalties. We won't start him there. So we felt we brought a guy. It does matter that he's got a home here, that he wants to be here at this age in his career. We want those players that are really going to embrace the opportunity, come in. We've got a good team here. He does have a Stanley Cup ring. He does understand what a deep run feels like, the cost of it. So we've just felt he fit really well.
You talked last year about how that group, sorry to go back to last year, but that group had an edge because of the way the season started and because of the acclimation that was needed
Right.
to learn systems. Where's the edge coming from right now when things are going the way
Right.
you want them to? Where's that? Where do you find that edge?
I think we've played our best hockey against playoff teams recently. And I think it comes from the players and the players in the room. I think I'd like to think that I had said that enough last year, that the specialness is in the room. And they get into the games and it's not going 5 minutes into the game, they're barking. Not necessarily, they're just barking. We got guys that are driving harder. That Jersey game was a tough one. I really felt going to that we were in real trouble, that would be a night we could lose by 4 or 5 goals. It's set up that way. But by the time we got to the third period and we're still in a tight game, those guys figured out a way to grind it out and get it there. It's the room. We've got a special bunch of guys, and I think Vladimir will see that early and enjoy it.
Obviously not a lot of holes and things are going well right now, but when it comes to what he brings and what you're looking to get out of Vladimir, is it just mainly the 5-on-5 scoring, the depth scoring? Is that kind of what you hope to get out of him?
No, I understand the question and the thought, and when you look statistically at his career, you would say that's what you would hope to get. This guy can score goals. I just want him to come in and play with the rest of them, because our leading scorer is going to back check just as hard as our guy who's the lowest scorer. So just come in and play with the rest of them. If you score a bunch, good for you. If you don't, and we're winning, good for us. Everybody's happy. There's not so what's his skill set maybe is another way of asking that question. He can shoot the puck, he can pass the puck. What I want to do is get him to a comfort level that he's not thinking about what I want, he's doing what he wants. See what's there, make the play that's there.
Does it help the room when not only bringing in a guy like Vlad, but you're not trading away another roster player?
For sure. For sure. Because what you think you know about a room, you necessarily don't. What I mean is, if you trade the 12th or 13th forward away, sometimes people will say, well, they didn't lose much off the roster, and that's fine. But if you trade a guy that's deeply connected to your room, there's always that chance, especially if you don't know the connections. But being able to, coaches love when you trade draft picks, right? Because they're 7 years away from being somebody that I'd see anyway. So bring in a Stanley Cup champion and not have to say goodbye to a close friend for those guys, that helps.
Since he's on this line, why has Barkov and Reinhardt worked this year? I mean, there's a little, in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I would fully understand that question. But the one that I would be stuck on is, why didn't it work last year?
Right, I guess that's-
Because it looked like it was. All it did was it didn't score. That was it. Like, the plays were made, the defense was good, they weren't cheating the game, and you're going, I understand why I like this, but we're 20 games in now and there's still no numbers there, and those two men have to have numbers. It's a big part of what they do for us. So it works because they're both really smart. They're very hardworking. They don't cheat the game. They never have for points. They're on the right side of the puck, and they can make plays. Whoever would coach this team would come into training camp brand new like last year, see these two guys skate, would put them together. This isn't a miracle pickup by me. It's just obvious. And then it didn't work, and that surprised me. Enough that when he came back to training camp this year, going, well, we're going to have to get another look. We're going to have to try it. I know it hasn't worked for two, but they just look so right together on the ice. It just took some time.
Tonight is 2000s night for the Panthers. You were here a lot, the old Southeast Division days.
Yes.
Night and day from back then. And Carolina used to come in here and roll these guys.
No. Well, no. It was a fair fight back then. We were both fighting for last place a lot. What do I truly remember about it? I went to the old Miami Arena. I got into a few games there.
That was 90s, though.
Okay, you're right. So crossover, we started to become a better team in the early 2000s. What I truly remember, it's mandated that at the end of the game you get video from the other team, and it was VHS in those days until we graduated to the CDs. God, I'm old. But I remember that you got the Jumbotron feed here. So we got a lot of the Panther going around. No face-offs. Never saw a face-off between two. So when you're trying to prep for the next time, you have no idea. You got no video for that. But we got the jumbo close-ups on guys' faces when they're going through the neutral zone. So I think, but we probably gave them the same thing back when they came in because there weren't a lot of people watching those two teams play.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay, guys.
We're gonna go to bed.